Hello and welcome back. This is part 2 of box 2 of my 45 RPM records collection. And we're starting off with Pat Benatar, You Better Run. Another female vocalist that I had a lot of respect for and really liked. I guess she was an opera singer, professionally trained, before switching over to rock and roll. Glad she did, because I don't get into opera and would have never heard of her before if she'd have stuck with it. And the B-side of this is Out of Touch, and allowing you to get a good look at the logo on the label there. Because sometimes I get in a bit of a hurry and we don't get that squeezed in there. So next up, The Police, which I really loved the Police's early stuff with Sting. They got really poppy and some of it wasn't this great, but this was a really good song. The do 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 da da da. That's all he's got to say to you. And Sting did some really great stuff on his own, but none of it anything I would consider to be rockin'. It's all poppy stuff. And I don't know if this is showing up there, but boy, that sure is a dusty one. I tried to unsleeve these to speed up the video and wipe some of them down, but dust is our enemy, especially when we're talking vinyl. It's a constant battle. Here's an older one taking you back a ways, Bell Records with Feeling Alright, written by Dave Mason. Yeah, if you remember who Dave Mason is from Traffic, but it was done and put out by The Fifth Dimension. B-side of that, probably something that I don't know, One Less Bell to Answer, and yep, I don't recognize that one just by the song title. But, and then next up, we've got an RCA Gold Standard Series. It's a pretty nice sleeve. I like the space stuff, I like the space theme. The sleeve's dated 76, but that don't mean that's when the 45 came out. But it's a reissue of an Elvis Presley doing Jailhouse Rock. It's clearly a reissue. It says it was recorded June 14th, 1957. That's one of the dead giveaways because they rarely put that on a first edition of a 45, if ever. So the B-side of that, Treat Me Nice. Another song from 1957. No idea if it came off the... Yeah, it says it came off of Jailhouse Rock, so I guess it was on the same album. So nothing particularly special there. Then another one of these roulette releases. I love the roulette sleeve, and what I really like about it is that it just looks so neat when the album, or the 45, is in them. We got a big color difference here on this one, as you can see, but it's probably because that sleeve has faded over the years. But hey there, lonely girl, Eddie Hallman on a hit series. So again, this is probably a reissued 45. There's a lot of demand for top 10 songs for people's jukeboxes, things that they remember personally. So, Can I Change My Mind? Don't know that one by the title, but it is dated 1973. So, being that it was reissued, I'm not sure when the original was done because they're not telling us on here. I don't think it was 73, but I suppose it could have been. But I would think that one goes back to the early 60s or so. And then here's a good one. I believe this is quite possibly an original release. It's definitely an early one, if not. But Tequila by the Champs. Can't hear that song anymore without envisioning Pee Wee Herman doing his little funky dance there. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And the B-side of that, Train to Nowhere. Title sounds familiar, but I can't put a tune to it. So, like I said, hard to know if that's an original release or not. I'm not real familiar with that record company. But there's a lot of companies putting out 45s that you don't recognize the names. Once they got to a major label, they got reissued. Now we got a Journey, Don't Stop Believing, and somewhere in my boxes I know I have a picture sleeve of this. In fact, it might be in the stack of picture sleeves I pulled aside the other day because I went through a lot of the boxes and pulled picture sleeves aside so we could do a video of just those. But Don't Stop Believing, I love that song. That was a good Journey song. Journey had their good tunes, and They had their not so great tunes, but no one can deny that they definitely left their mark. And I'd call them pop rock, really. They started out kind of jazzy. The first three albums before Steve Perry joined them was considerably different than the stuff that he did with them. But at the height of their career and their biggest popularity, yeah, Steve Perry days. But if you have never heard those first three Journey albums, do yourself a favor and check them out. Also, that first one, Vanna Pick Me a Letter by Dr. Dave, I meant to mention, look it up on YouTube. It's a fun listen. It's only like 2.5 minutes long. Yeah, it's there for you to hear if you want to hear it. Now here, I think again, we might have an original of Hitching a Ride by Vanity Fair. And I can show you here in just a moment, once we get done showing you the B-side here, Man Child, which I don't know. But I've got a reissue of that one. Flashback Records. Anytime you see Flashback Records, it's obviously a reissue. I think they license songs to put out on 45s and it seemed to be a division of Bell Records, which we had a Bell just a little bit ago, if you remember. And so this one's clearly a reissue. And that's why I'm thinking that other one might just have been an original, because it's certainly an earlier edition, if not. Early in the Morning is the B-side on that one. So they changed the songs, because if you remember, the B-side on the other copy was Man Child. And I don't recognize either one of those songs. Usually on flashbacks or reissues, they tend to put another hit, if not a lesser known hit. They usually do try to double up on those hits. And now here's a really great 45, even though it's a reissue. It's a back-to-back hits, Oh Well by Fleetwood Mac. And I was looking into this one this morning because I knew this is a non-album side. And I want to give you guys as accurate information as I possibly can. A lot of this I just know from having lived through the times, and some of it I do get off of Wikipedia, which I realize isn't 100% accurate all the time, but man, it's a great resource for a lot of information, especially if you're looking for discographies and bands' histories and stuff. But getting back to some of the details, it was an A-side single in the UK in 1969 that was not on the album. It was a non-album A-side. And when it came to the United States, they chose to put Rattlesnake Shake, which is not the B-side on this one. This one has the Green Manalishi on it, the B-side it. But Rattlesnake Shake was on Then Play On, so it's interesting that they had a non-album track. Oh Well, actually, excuse me, taking it back just a bit here. Oh Well was released with part 1 on side A and part 2 on side B. And you'll look here, it's 2 minutes and 25 seconds. So even though it's not noted as part 1, it was just part 1 of the song. The part 2 is like 5 minutes or something that totals a little over 8 minutes in length. So if you listen to this 45, it's just the cut to the chase, 2 minutes, 25 seconds, the vocal part. The second part's instrumental and just a lot of jamming. So Peter Green, Fleetwood Mac went through a few stages. They had their Peter Green stage, and they had their, what's his name, Bob Welch stage, and then the Lindsey Buckingham Nick stage. So Fleetwood Mac has quite a history. McVie and Fleetwood, Mick Fleetwood, or the drummer and the bassist, they were the ones who actually formed the band and who brought all the other members in and out over the history of the band. So Green Manalishi, by the way, which is the B-side on this copy, which is a great song. I love this song, especially the Judas Priest remake. That is such a great remake. That's another one of those times when I would say the great remake surpassed the original. But I know there's Fleetwood Mac fans and Peter Green fans especially out there that would take offense to that. I mean, no offense. It's a great song. I love the song, but I just love the version Judas Priest did a lot more. But the B-side of that, when it was originally released in 1970, was a song called Dragonfly. And so we're going to do one more, which I believe is a repeat from box 1. It may have been a slightly different label, But I Never Cry by Alice Cooper, which I also am a big fan of Alice Cooper, which he had a great career, a fair career, a bad career, and then came back strong with another really great career. But Goes to Hell was the name of the album for the B-side song here, Go to Hell. And I think I discussed in the video for Box 1 how he was the son of a preacher man and avoided the dark side. But we've run out of time again, so we'll be coming back with part 3 here shortly.